everybody, Kimberly Olson here, coming in live this Tuesday evening, and I'm so excited to connect with you all. I feel like it's been way too long, but I have a special treat for you tonight. We're going to get a chance to talk about finding peace and calm during the holidays, how to handle stress, and just basically how to find a way to be centered amongst all the craziness, whether it be during the holidays or whether it be at work or with kids. We're going to be able to dive in. Let's see if I can add her on here. And I'm just waiting for her to comment. We're going to be able to dive in with a life coach, actually. So I'm really excited to bring her on here. So Darla, if you're watching, go ahead and comment so I can bring you on. And for those that are just hopping on, go ahead and put 1 in the comments. If you're watching the replay, put 2. If you are new and have never seen Darla Bloom before, go ahead and put new in the comments. If you share this video for all of your followers and people that watch you, oh, there you are, go ahead and put shared so we can shout you out for that. Okay, I'm trying to bring you on. Oh, how funny, it says, do you want to block Darla? No, I do not want to block Darla. Okay, let me see if I can bring you on here. Let's see. Give me a second, guys. I have to bring Darla on. Oh, it's inviting. Okay, got it. Oh, I don't know. Help me. So, Darla, if you're watching this, I can't see anything, everybody. Oh my gosh. Wow, okay. Okay, so Darla, go ahead and comment again or try to request to be added on. So those that are just tuning in, thank you for your patience. Oh, new to Darla, awesome. I'm excited about that. So let me see if I can see comments. So go ahead and comment again for me because oh, here you are, okay. It says, you cannot join me right now, Darla. So I don't know if it's because you're on the iPad. I don't know if anybody knows about doing lives. Can you do them on the iPad? So you might want to switch to your phone. So let me just give it a second here. But I'll go ahead and tell you guys how I met Darla and why I want to share this information with you. And this is actually kind of funny because Scott asked me what I was doing an interview on. And I said about being calm, and he started laughing. So if anyone needs this interview, it's definitely me. So we will do what we can to bring her on. But I actually met Darla in 2006. So she's known me since I was a young girl. Oh, here we go. Oh, it's working now. Darla, it says it's adding you, so fingers crossed that it works and we can actually rock and roll with our interview. Oh, fingers crossed. Everybody think really good, calming, positive energy. It's trying to add you, so I don't know if it's a connection. Oh shoot, it says it's trying. Okay, well, for those that are on here, I want to just go ahead and keep chatting. That way it can give us a second to add her. But I met Darla when I was in 2006, and I became a training director, well, a training manager, and then was promoted to training director. And she, oh, okay. Yes. Okay, it says adding, we'll see. But she was my first mentor, which is really exciting. So for those of you that feel that I'm able to offer value and things like that, all of the leadership development, the training, the coaching, everything I've actually learned from Darla, which is kind of cool. And it says your live viewers. We'll try again, Darla. I'm not giving up, as you guys can see. We might have to just turn this into, oh, there you are.
All right, like, give me a second here to just get situated.
Along.
And oops, maybe not.
Okay. See, for those that haven't done lives before, sometimes you just got to kind of roll with it. So be kind in your thoughts as we work through the technique. And plus, we have 2 ladies here that are over 12, so it's going to be a little hard for us with,
right.
with the technology. So I don't know if you heard me, Darla, but I was laughing because Sky asked me what the topic was for the interview, and I said calm, and he just laughed and walked away. So I think I need this more than anybody. So this is a selfish request. But For those that are just hopping on, go ahead and put 1 in the comments if you're watching this live. Put 2 if you're watching the replay. Put new if you're new to me or Darla Bloom. And put share if you share this video, because we want to spread the message that it is possible to create inner space and inner calm during the holidays, because everybody is feeling the stress. I can see it everywhere around me. I can see it myself. I actually reached out to Darla. She's one of my coaches. I reached out to her last week saying, I'm feeling really overwhelmed and stressed. And she gave me some great advice. And within minutes, I seriously was able to shift my perspective. And I thought it could really add value to your guys' lives too. So to start, welcome, Darla. Thank you for being on.
Absolutely.
And why don't you share a little bit? I told them how I met you, that you were my first mentor back when I was very young. I was 26. And that's where I've learned my leadership development and got my passion for training and education, because that was just, I had such a great experience working with you. But share with them a little bit about what got you into what you're doing now with coaching and helping people like me, because we need your help.
Okay. I think that I do coaching and training in my job. I'm a corporate coach for a company. I've been there for 25 years. So as much as you train people to do their jobs, when you work day to day with them, you get into their lives and you share their challenges and their struggles. And what was also happening to me is I was a single parent, 2 little kids, on my own a lot, a very demanding job, lots of mom stress, lots of money stress, trying to do it all. And I just worked really hard at finding inner peace and getting peace stealers out of my life and keeping a really good perspective every day about what I could do and what I couldn't do. And the end result has been really successful. With my children are pretty well adjusted for the life that we led that was chaotic. And I now just have a really big passion to help other people, and especially it seems to be like women who are going through the same type of struggles that I've gone through and continue to as well, because the holidays are stressful for me, just like you. And if you could see my Facebook post from today, and a child stranded at University of Alabama with a broken car and how to get him home. And, I live the same thing. So all of the challenges that everybody out there goes through, I go through too. And I have really used my passion to find a way to cope and really find joy and peace in every day.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that, especially like, I'm sure you've always been like that, but reconnecting with you over the last couple years, I feel like I've noticed that's become the center for you. Before, I felt like it would be not an afterthought, but something you really had to work at to remind yourself. And now I feel like everything starts with that. Like, that's your foundation. So there's a couple things I want to ask you about. I wanted to ask you about how you do that, as far as creating it as the center point of your life. I wanted to talk to you about the peace stealers, and I want to talk to you about the rock. So those are the 3 main things, just to kind of give you an idea. So start with, how do you, because it's crazy, right? Like, it's just, there's so many things going on all the time. How do you kind of, like, is there something you do every day, like a ritual, or is there a certain self-talk that you do? How do you kind of rein it back in where you say, how do you create that inner calm?
Well, years ago, I realized that being a busy mom and a executive, and I traveled the state, I would get to points where I thought I was going to have an anxiety attack, because so much, so fast, and I was always exhausted, and that was affecting my health and my mental attitude. So I have at least 15 minutes every morning. I have a den in my house, but I didn't always. There were years it was a chair in the living room, and I happen to take a cup of coffee, and I get up 15 minutes earlier, and I always have. And I have 15 minutes that for me is to center and wake up. And for me, because of my faith, it's God time. Everyone in my entire life, I fought for that. And from my job, which many of my managers are wide awake at that time, they're already in the field. They know that there's 15 minutes of God time, and they don't interrupt. They often text and say, call me after God time. And I just, I reconnect. I do some really simple things that if I have a day that I'm really busy, I will do something like just a really quick devotional. That's just a few minutes to get my head centered. If I'm really flying, I have like a little calendar that is, mine is faith-based, but they make them that are on goals or get your head on straight for the morning. And then I read, if I have some extra time, I do read scripture. And then that just starts my day off right. I have done that practice now, I would tell you, for probably 10 years. And
wow.
And it is every day. It is rare that I only have that time maybe 5 days a week, because I'm really committed to that. That begins the calm. And I really, I leave my cell phone outside the door of my den, or you could leave it somewhere else so it can't interrupt me. I also really try not to think about my to-do list, because there's plenty of time for that later. Yep.
Yeah, and you know it's gonna go.
Yep.
And I like that too, because a lot of people are telling me that they're a lot of people that follow me are moms, like you said, or they're trying to build a business on the side, or just find some space for themselves, and they're feeling really crazy. Like some of them either work full time like I do, or they're stay-at-home moms, so they have toddlers, or like just kids that need them, and they're finding a hard time to find time every day to maybe journal or meditate.
Right.
So what you're saying is you've got to discipline yourself and get up earlier before everybody else gets up. Is that basically what you're saying?
And I'm a morning person, but I know plenty of moms who you have to shut the TV off 15 minutes earlier. Or I had a ritual for years when my kids were littler, that when they were probably around 10 at the time, and you come in the door and it's mom dinner and mom homework. And I had this thing where I said, hands off, guys, I got to change. And so at that time, my 15 minutes sometimes was while I was changing out of my work clothes. I took a few minutes, I read one of my pages, I took a deep breath, and then So it doesn't have to be in the morning. Right now, for my lifestyle, that happens to work. And I never have thought that 15 minutes of sleep was that big of a deal. So it really starts my day off right. And you have to find inner peace somewhere, because outside of that is all going to be chaos. It always is. Life outside of inside, just chaotic. I don't care if you work or you stay home or you have kids or you don't have kids or you have the job or you don't, it just, the world is chaotic.
It is. And just with the cell phone and all the notifications, we're on Facebook right now, right? And so all day long it's ping, or messages. And I'm really active on it. So, and that's kind of something I've noticed too, and you've helped me with this, is realizing that like people who are more, I don't want to say older, but I'm almost 38, but I'm past that where I grew up with a device in my hand. That wasn't me. And I think it's harder for us. I think it makes us anxious. And I've noticed when I'm consistent with meditation, or every day I use the Empowered Life Planner. So every day I put what I'm grateful for, my mantra for the day, and what's important to me, and building in self-care. And I notice when I do that, then I don't feel as anxious. Like the stuff is still there, but I notice by kind of just saying, okay, this is what's important to me, it helps me with it. So I think that's a really good strategy of finding the time when you can. And I think sometimes everybody's so stressed out that I think sometimes by the time they get home and the kids get to bed or whatever, they're watching TV or they're having a glass of wine. And I think sometimes they stay up too late because that's kind of how they're dealing with it. So I think if you, like you said, maybe it's you turn the TV off 15 minutes earlier, maybe you go to bed at a reasonable hour, and that way you can get up refreshed or have that extra 15 minutes before your day starts. I do like the idea of doing it as soon as you can, because it kind of sets the stage, otherwise you're sort of running all day from one thing to the next. And I think that's a really good tip. So as far, were you going to say something?
I just think also, you have to find what fits your lifestyle as well. I don't turn the lights on for the first 3 or 4 minutes. I just sit quietly with a cup of coffee, because that's how to wake up. I have had times where social media pulled me to it before I too have had to say, wait, I'm not done here yet. I haven't got that I can't let the world in just yet. The other thing too is it's a practice that has to become a habit. So forgive yourself if you get it in 3 days a week. Start small. If you get 6 minutes and then the kids get up, forgive yourself. Start small. Like I said, I have a lot to this day. I don't get 20 to 30 minutes. Some days it's 7, and I read that little calendar and I'm going. But
Yeah, but you still do it. That's awesome. I love that. And the most successful people out there, they have some kind of ritual. You know, it's
Yeah.
about, like you said, I have it. They have something that they do every single day. And I really like, don't turn your phone on, because Brendan Burchard, he leads these different platforms, and it's basically how to become an expert in anything that you do. And he talks about, don't check your email first thing in the morning. He's like, do your other things first, whether it be, like you said, your quiet time, your God time, because your email is other people's inboxes. It's their to-do list in your email. And as soon as you get on there, you guys, you get sucked in, and we've all been there. So I like the idea of, don't keep your phone in your room, because sometimes people charge it in their room or they have it on.
Right.
Get it out of that room. So if wherever you're quiet, like you said, it could be a chair in the living room, but get the phone away, because if it's there, it's going to call to you. Like, admit it. It's true.
When I first did it, I had to talk myself down and say that everyone in the world takes a shower. So like, everyone in the world takes a 10 or 15 minute shower in which they're not on the phone and they're not accessible. That is how, in the early years I started this, I had to not feel guilty. I had to be like, wow, if I can be off of that phone and inaccessible to my job and life in the world for 15 minutes to take a shower, then I can be unavailable for 15 minutes to give myself something back. But that was really hard in the beginning, because I felt guilty.
Yeah, most people do. And what we forget is that we're better when we take that 10 to 15 minutes. You're way more productive. You're less stressed. You're just a better person. Like, I notice when I can get that time in before I get to work, because sometimes I'll just write out my day and plans for work, or I'll listen to things in the car. I'm better with the girls. Like, I'm much more patient in the morning. I'm not like throwing them into the car seats and like, let's go. Yep. I'm just more, like, it's going to be okay. We're going to get to school. I'm going to get to work. There's going to be traffic, and it's okay.
Also, we're going to bring up, I think we have to teach peace at home, and we have to teach them how to have that, because they live in a world even that's faster paced than we do. And they're going to be more frantic, is a word, in how they live their life. So I think giving that living example of, it's okay to just stop. And it's really important to just stop is really going to be important as the generations move on.
Oh yeah, for sure. And one thing you've taught me, if for those that are just hopping on you, if you guys don't know, Darla's but she's my life coach. But I've known her outside of us. I think of her, as a mentor, a business, friend. So if you guys are just hopping on, put a 1 in the comments if you're watching this live, put 2 if you're watching the replay. And if you're new to Darla, I tag her in this video so you can check out her page. She has a page called Bloom Coaching, and she'll tell you at the end how to get in touch with her. And then put shared if you shared this. But one of the cool things you taught me is, if I'm feeling, and this happened last week, if I'm feeling, and you guys know what this is like, how you weren't planning on it, but your day just kind of goes south, or you have a project pushed on you, or your kids get sick or something, and you're just feeling like just really caught up in it, and maybe even not excited about, you thought you're gonna have a great day and you don't. Get out of the area and go find a quiet space. And I just do a 5-minute meditation or tapping. I did that last week after you told me, you're like, just, rein it back in, and it worked. And it was amazing, because I was able to go back with a clear mind, and I took 5 minutes. You could go in the bathroom at work for 5 minutes. They don't need to know what you're doing. Go to your car, just go outside, get in your car, turn it on. Or if you're at home, sorry, you might have to lock Susie out of the bathroom for a few minutes, because that's going to be better for Susie and yourself. And it really does just kind of calm it down, because sometimes we get caught up in that energy. And it's just a way to sort of bring it back home. And so that's really something helpful that you've taught me.
It's regrouping. It's a moment to just regroup. Because if you don't, what happens is, and this, Kim, from your own studies and your business, but your physical will follow your mental. And that's why people have anxiety attacks, because they have not mastered being able to, I need to regroup. This is getting out of hand. And some of it, a lot of it we do to ourselves, because we don't have inner peace, because we're reacting all the time to the outside chaos.
Yes, you're right. It's reacting. You're kind of giving up your power. That's so true. And speaking of that, tell them about what you taught me about the peace stealers, because I think you get to a point in your life where you're like, I want to choose how I live my life. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, you can still work for somebody, but you are still controlling as much as you can in your life, like your friends and all that kind of stuff. So talk to them a little bit about that.
Okay. And the holidays is a great time to talk about this because one of the things I teach all the time is to pick and choose what brings you joy. So at the holidays, we feel like we have to do everything. We have to have the house decorated like the Christmas card or the movie, and we have to do all the baking, and we have to. And I work with clients a lot. Just pick what brings you joy. And the other side of that is stand firm on peace stealers. So if you have something in your life that steals your peace, stop doing it. Get it out. And I did this as a New Year's resolution, I think 3 years ago with my husband. We decided that we were just going to say no to peace stealers. And it was amazing, from a broken garage door that was driving him crazy every time he came in. We have to go fix it. And I would be like, you know, the door is a peace stealer. Just call a guy. Quit trying to be the maintenance guy. And sometimes we would start to have conversations and we would say, you know what? This topic, rehashing what happened at work, or talking about a challenge we had with one of our children, this topic is a peace stealer right now. We both have had long days and we went to dinner. We're not going to go here. So I call it stand firm with peace stealers. What does steal your peace? Do you say, for me, it was trying to fit in, being the room. I had a career.
To be the what?
The room mom. Being the room mom in school. That was a huge peace stealer for me. It's not in my wheelhouse. I'm not good at it. I was really the mom who would have rather baked or sometimes written or paid the neighbors to go for me. And that was such a peace. It would stress me out. I would stress my boys out to the point where I think one of them once said, you know, it's not really a big deal. There are moms who enjoy it. Yeah, like would you please not come? And so I just decided at one point I wasn't ever going to be a room mom. It stole my peace. I would go to a lot of other things. I would participate in the school in other ways, but that was a peace stealer for me, and it made me not peaceful with them. And so I really work hard, and New Year's is a great time to do it with a coach or even on your own. Identifying and just standing firm that you're not going to have peace stealers in your life anymore. Just not. You're not going to have them because they're not worth it.
That's awesome, because I think, the holidays were around a lot of families and maybe with some get-togethers, but one cool thing I've learned to do over the years is to kind of change the relationship with people that maybe aren't serving me, and I don't mean it selfishly, but aren't in the same type, like they're not trying to live the life that I'm living. And so maybe they are negative. A negative person would be a great example. And I did a video called What to Do About like Negative Nancy's and Debbie Downers. And I think those people were peace stealers, because I'm really positive. I'm trying to do great things and, you know, create a great life for my family and all that. And so I've learned that I don't have to keep those relationships really close. I can still stay in touch, but I can change how that is. And those were definitely example of peace stealers. So I think this time of year, it's like you're around family, around friends. It would be a good, like, you can't like get rid of your family, but I think it's a good time of year to kind of assess like who is in your corner. You know, are you hanging around people that bring you joy or take away that joy?
Yeah. I think the other thing with that, the holidays too, and I know that as women in general, we talk about when to say no or how to say no. And, it's okay to say no. I'm not on that, because I think we're all pressured to do things and you should have your own boundaries. But I think at the holidays, you really have to realistically factor in the other things about your life. So if I plan to go to dinner or go to that cookie exchange one night and party the next night, and then the third night I'm going to have to rush to spend time with my kids and I'm going to be exhausted, so I'm not going to get my morning time. I think more it's a realistic reprioritizing of what brings you joy. Because by that third party, even though you want to go to all three of them, are you going to have joy and be able to really enjoy the next things that are important, like Christmas morning? Or are you too tired? And so I found in myself and working with a lot of clients, talking through what is that. So all three of those parties look good, but let's talk about what that's going to do to your inner peace, or how you're going to be as a mom or a spouse. And let's prioritize which are the most important, and then let's pick rest on one of those days. And that's been very important.
That's awesome. Plus, too, it sounds like you can adjust as you go along. Because I always think things take less than they do, and I think I can do everything. And I used to plan all these work trips, especially when Addison was just a few months old. I would plan these crazy trips across the U.S. and bring her with me. And then when I was in the trip, I'm like, who was that person planning this trip? Because this is not real. Like, this is horrible.
Right.
So
Right.
I think just kind of when you're going through it too, of know that things can change. You might have overscheduled yourself. And somebody had asked me, like, how do I say no to people? Because they're very like afraid of saying no to their friends or whatever. And I said, you don't have to give it a reason. You can just say, something came up, I can't make it. You don't have to explain yourself. And that's freeing. Like,
Right.
it has saved my mind to be able to just go, I'm not going to be able to make it.
Right. Well, and we call it, sometimes I call it, you have to schedule a meeting with yourself, because we cancel things all the time because you have a meeting. No, I can't go to that because I have this meeting. So you kind of have to adapt this mentality of, I have a meeting with myself. You don't say that. You just say, I have another meeting at that time. I'm so sorry. That's
awesome.
That's for years how I've scheduled in a workout. Is I block it as a morning meeting. So,
nice.
It really has a lot to do with time blocking on our organization ahead of time. But like you said, things come up. And I think one of the things I work with people is have a realistic view. Realistically, you're not probably going to have the picture perfect Christmas. Sometimes cutting ourselves slack going into it by knowing that, you roll with the changes so much better. 5 minutes ago, I walked by my Christmas tree. I do have company coming Saturday. My kids are coming home within the next 24 hours. They really haven't seen the tree. And the top of it, the lights don't work. I probably maybe years ago would have like stopped. I might have cut them off with a pair of scissors, and I don't know what. I don't know. I just walked by it tonight and I went, that's unfortunate. But if I have time between now and Saturday, I'm probably going to fix that. And if I don't, the top of the tree isn't going to be lit. And that's because life isn't perfect and holidays aren't perfect. And me fighting with a tree will steal my joy trying to get ready to enjoy people coming to my home. So that's a realistic view.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and it kind of goes into the last thing I wanted to ask you, and you really taught me a lot about this, is the rocks, as you call them. But it's sort of like, with trying to make the Christmas tree perfect, and it's just all this pressure. But really, at the end of the day, what's the most important thing, right? It's being around family, and the holidays is celebrating the birth of Jesus if you celebrate Christmas. So can you talk a little bit about the rocks and how to incorporate that as kind of your guiding light to really focus on what's important?
Yep. Rocks is actually, it comes from a training presentation in which people take a jar and they put rocks and sand and pebbles and water into the, and when you do it, people try to put the sand in, and then they put the water in, and they put the pebbles in, and then by the time you put the rocks in, it all overflows because there's no room for the rocks. So the theory behind the rocks is that the rocks are the most important. They're the big things in life, and they have to go in that jar first. And the sand and the pebbles and the water, they represent other things in your life, like like kids or the job or whatever comes around those rocks. And those things are real. The sand exists. I've never been. I'm a very realistic coach, as you know, Kim, and I've never been somebody who's like, hey, I'm going to get you to Pollyanna status and life's just going to be perfect. And let me show you how that tomorrow will be completely predictable. It's not like that. Life is full of water and sand and pebbles and rocks. And so what a rock is in coaching, and it comes from it's used widely in a book called Traction in EOS, which is a entrepreneurial system for businesses. I've kind of adapted it into coaching because I think it's such a good keep your eye on the ball goal setting. Well, I have a little problem there. My battery's getting low. So what happened, what it is that your rock is the most important thing that you need to put your energy and your focus into every day, because it's going to get where you need to go. So there was time when I was developing my God habit and my peace habit that was a rock for me, that I had to go to bed earlier to be able to put my energy into that most important thing that was bringing me peace. A rock in my life for many years was parenting. So there were times I didn't get the promotion. I didn't take the reign because the rock that I knew for many years that was my most important of where I wanted to be and what I wanted to give back to the world was raising my son. And I took that very seriously. So that's what the rock concept is. And what you do with a rock is for 90 days, you identify where you want to be at the end of 90 days. So there is some visualization. There is some positive thinking about what does that look like? Visualize what does 90 days from now look like? And then you work every day. You just reprioritize probably once a week or sometimes every day when you journal or when you're getting overwhelmed of what is my rock and what is my most important thing today that I need to be putting my energy into. And that's that taking a deep breath and refocusing. And, you know, I shared with you, Kim, that a couple things I've used this Christmas, and they're kind of silly. I tend to be very fun and upbeat too in my life. I have to keep myself going, but I have these two mantras that I started about 4 or 5, maybe 5 weeks ago. And one is that I realized I was getting stressed out about areas that as a woman and a fixer and a boss, and I tend to be the person that fixes everybody and fixes every problem and gets involved. And so I read it somewhere. It's a popular saying of not my rodeo. And I just have really been practicing stopping myself and looking at a situation that might be stealing my peace or getting me a little bit uptight. And all of a sudden I'll go, wait a minute, that's not my rodeo. Why am I in this? And I'll just back away. And that has been so freeing for me this holiday season. And then I shared with you the other sentence, and I found it in one of my calendars or books, and it said, don't let the chaos inside. And
what is it?
Don't let the chaos inside. And I wrote it on my whiteboard. So that's one of the things that I look at every day of kind of, I look at it as I have on the armor of God, and I'm not letting it in. There have been about 20 times in the last few weeks I've just stopped and went, wait a minute, I'm not letting it in. I'm going to stay peaceful. I'm going to stay upbeat. Yep, he's stranded in Alabama with a broken car. Come what may, we will work it out. We're going to piece by piece. Just, I'm not letting the chaos inside me. So those are some strategies that I've been working.
Yeah, I love that. And since we're so close to 2018 too, it's a good time to decide like what are those rocks. You know, I did a vision board workshop a couple weeks ago, and it was really cool to see just with images and photos and little phrases and stuff, the kind of people, what kind of people that these people in this workshop wanted to be. But also too, sometimes it's going, I haven't been eating that great. You know, and I work at health clubs, so I have people who come in and go, doctors talking about diabetic medication. I haven't been working out. You know, it's kind of that, but I think taking time right now and carving out some space, maybe it's an hour at a coffee shop by yourself. I did that on Saturday. I was like, I gotta go. Like we had people visiting. I'm like, I just need an hour to just get a plan. Like I just need a moment. And so I think this is a good time of year for people to determine what are those rocks, because you know, the busyness and the chaos and the crazy, it's not going away. You know, you cannot escape it. You can go on a retreat and feel awesome, go to a conference, you come back Monday morning, the chaos is there. So learning how to really focus on what's important to you, build your life around that. And then I love the armor. You said armor of God. I had done a meditation. It was like 5 minutes. And she said, imagine that there's like a shield around you, and you're just in the shield and you're protected. And so when I meet people, because I meet a lot of people that just aren't in a good place, right? They're trying to get healthy, but they're not in a good place. And I can feel it, you know, and I'm like, no. Like, I don't have to accept that. I can help them and talk to them, but I don't have to let it affect me. And that's really a big deal for me because I feel everything. So I think that's a really good advice, especially we're going right into the holiday weekend and then we have New Year's. A lot of that, you know, sometimes we've got that old aunt that just triggers things in us or a parent. And I think it's a good thing to remember.
Yeah.
Have your shield up. Let them be, you know, crotchety, stand your ground, but don't let them steal your peace.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's happening. And I think this is common for people in my own family. There are relationships that they just don't work. They just are two different people and the relationship doesn't work. And the not my rodeo comment and mantra has played out really well because why do I think I need to fix it? Why do I think I can make them both happy? That's their rodeo. That's not about me. And I'm just going to stay over here and keep my peace. And, you know, a couple times I've even found some of those people looking over like, are you coming? Are you rescuing?
Right.
And I'm like, I'm not rescuing. That's not my rodeo. You two work it out. I'm over here peaceful. I think, you know, kicking off 2018 is a really good time to look at rocks. One thing I want to say about rocks, they need to be really well defined. So if you were looking at a healthy rock and saying, you know, I'm going to lose this weight, well, you know, you could be realistic about it. And it's better to do a rock that says, I'm going to hire a personal trainer. I'm going to work 2 to 3 days a week. I'm going to clean eating, which means every week I'm going to eat one item cleaner each week, so that they're very measurable. So that you aren't going like, you know, kind of like you said, people do well, I should just do better. No, are you cutting out alcohol for all of January? What's the measurable result? And if it is cutting out alcohol or eating cleaner, or be very defined, because you will feel better and you'll gain peace and excitement when you can define what was measurable. And you can say, that was a success. And they change every 90 days. So say by April 1, this is my deadline. And you got to be kind of self-disciplined, as I've worked with you on, Kim, too, of you either make it or you don't. So you are every week doing a checkup of, was I successful or wasn't I? And what do I need to adjust to stay on track for my rock? But the key to a rock is that every day you put your energy into the thing that you want to get to, the place you want. And it changes all the time. Life changes. And forgive yourself. Maybe a rock for a really busy woman right now is that she's going to, you know, gradually work up to her 15 minutes alone each day. So she might say that January she's going to find 5. That's okay. And maybe she finds 5 for 4 days a week, not 7. Okay. That's progress. That's how you start. But I think the other thing about the holidays too, I just would go back to pick the things that bring you joy. You know, I've had some parties already. I have another party at my house on Saturday night, and it was the simple things, but tonight I bought paper plates, and I don't care that tree is half burnt out, and I don't call it a party anymore. That party I call an open, which means I'm going to open the front door and there's going to be food on the table. And come in and enjoy us, but it's an open house and it's from this time to this time, and please don't or don't. There's no, you know, I just don't put that stress on myself anymore.
I love that. It's like the wisdom of living life and just kind of letting go of it all, you know, letting go of those expectations. Awesome. Well, how can people get in touch with you? If you guys are just hopping on, Darla is my life coach. She's helped me to find balance with work and family, but most importantly, she's helped me to really define and figure out exactly what my goals are and put a plan together of going after them. And it's been amazing because every time I have a follow-up appointment with her, I'm able to talk to her and say, this is where I'm at. And I'm actually been able to make even more progress than what we planned. But I know for sure if I didn't have her, it's just accountability, right? But it's to have somebody to bounce ideas off, work through, and say, well, what about this? So can't say enough about you, Darla, but how can people get connected with you to find out more?
Okay. First, Kim, you're far too kind. But thank you. I really enjoy coaching. It's like a sideline passion of mine. I am on Bloom Coaching on Facebook. So check out the page. I just put tidbits up, little things like this. and you can private message me if you're interested in buying some sessions and just one or getting started for the new year. Also, I usually do it remote. So I don't know if people know that I'm in cold Michigan and you're in warm Texas tonight, but that's how you and I do it. Not having little kids anymore, I can do a lot of weekends and evenings and early mornings as well. So yeah, I'm excited. I really like this as, a passion of mine, and I appreciate you letting me chat with you tonight and share.
Yeah, for sure. It
Yeah.
was awesome. Good. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thank you guys for watching. And if you have any questions or anything, just post a comment. I'll make sure to tag her page in the comments so you guys can click it just to like her page so and turn the notifications on. And then she's tagged in the title of this, so you can click that to private message her if you want to find out more about her life coaching. So thanks again.
Great.
Happy holidays. And I'm going to sign you off, and you guys as well have a great night. Bye. I'll see you guys later. Bye.